Welcome back to Needlessly Nostalgic. This is our third episode, so thank you guys so much for deciding to try out another one, or if this is your first time, then thank you for taking the leap, because I am Tyler Nichols, and with me is my co-host / host, because we're on the same level and I never know what to say and refer to you as Lance Velchek. How you doing?
Good, man. How you been? Life is pretty good. I can't complain. I love the fact that we're back once again talking my favorite horror franchise. Or is it series? Yes. I always interchange those, and I feel like they're not interchangeable. So please correct me if I'm wrong.
No, they're completely interchangeable because I constantly interchange them. That's all I ever do is just say one or the other. Or if I'm saying I'm writing a script and I say franchise too much, then I switch it to series.
Yeah, me too. Me too. But I feel if I ever look into this, I think once I looked into it, and franchise has to leave the medium of film. I could be wrong, but I remember thinking like, ooh, shit. Well, hopefully nobody calls me on it, but it doesn't matter. Yes, I'm glad to be back talking once again, man. Always good chatting with an old buddy of mine, so. How are you?
I am doing, I don't know. I'm doing okay because I'm a little upset about today's subject because I used to really love this movie, and I've watched this most recent viewing. I saw a lot of flaws. So I don't know. I thought this was going to be like, I think I even said when we recorded the first episode, like I'm really looking forward to the next two, but like, it just didn't work out. Today we're covering Friday the 13th, part 3.
Yes.
Now this is from 1982, also from Steve Miner, starring, I don't have the actual thing up right now. That was all just me improving because I don't, for some reason my thing didn't.
I got you. I'll step in. It's Dana Kimmel, Tracy Savage, and Richard Broker, I don't know. I'm not really good at names with these kind of films. It's like they're kind of interchangeable, if I'm being real honest. But
husband and wife duo are the writers on it, though. Martin Catrasso and Carol Watson. They don't have the same last name, but I remember them being husband and wife.
So
I think that's the whole reason we have the husband and wife in this movie. But we'll get into that later. Before we get into anything actual movie related, well, this kind of movie related, but have you ever been able to see this movie in 3D?
Well, I was going to save it for a little bit later, but okay, I'm holding in my hand. They did a deluxe DVD edition, Friday the 13th Part 3, 3D, and it comes with two. Yeah. And I kept it. I never left it. And even when I've upgraded, I made sure I kept it because it has the two 3D glasses that are red and blue. And I was in my 20s, I believe, when this came out, because I was in my second apartment with a bunch of my roommates. Like I lived with my friends. It was a great time in my life.
We'll put a picture on one of our social media, probably Instagram. That'll probably be where we put photos.
But at the same time, I believe, don't quote me exactly, one of us worked at a movie theater, and I believe it was at the exact same time that Spy Kids 3D came out. And so my buddy kept some of the glasses at the theater they worked at. So he gave them to me to keep with me so that 4 people could come over and watch Friday the 13th Part 3D in 3D. And sometimes I used to get like stoned and put it on. A lot of people didn't make it all the way through because it gave a lot of headaches, but I have a superior mind, so it never bothered me. So yes, I never saw it in theaters, but I've seen it actually quite a bit in 3D. It's terrible, but I absolutely love it. And, I am part of the crew that thinks sometimes that the badness is what makes it good.
Dude, that's like a goal of mine. I have scoped out 3D viewings of like theatrical showings of this to try and go. And it's a lot of the time it'll be like Pennsylvania, LA. So then it just doesn't work out. But I want to see this in 3D so bad.
Well, here's the deal. You know that I live in Oregon. Just take a little flight out, come see the old Mr. Lance, and we will watch it in 3D.
I'll say right now, there have been many occasions where I just fast forward until the new footage starts in this one. And I think that's mostly because of the fact, it's just the ending of the second movie. And I usually watch 2 and 3 back to back. It's a pretty common occurrence.
Yeah, but come on, hold on. Let's be a little cool. You can't tell me this is annoying, but then part 2 that recycles part 1. I know that you're going to say it's a dream and at least it makes sense, but come on. It's just
I was talking shit about that. I said that's the worst element.
I want people to go back to that episode because I felt like you were pretty nice about it. You're pretty nice about it.
Because I was comparing it to specifically this one. I said that Alice made like Alice dreaming about it at least made sense of it rather than just, oh, we're just seeing the end of this movie. This is not anything other than a recap for viewers, because there's not someone that's reliving this, unless it's Jason that's reliving it. But we don't get any indication of that.
No, but can we at least give credit that it then flashes to the TV of I don't know, the chick with the old fashioned spinners in her hair for the curls.
Doesn't flash for shit. It's fucking an outdoor shot.
Well, okay.
It's that amazing shot that dollies down. Oh, I love it.
I'm just saying, on the TV, it's Alice getting, for some reason, put in the ambulance again. Like there's a news crew there, and I was like, okay, It makes no sense, but at least they're trying. They're putting on the TV to establish, like, okay,
Jenny being put in the ad.
Yeah, sorry, Jenny, we're talking about Alice, yes, Jenny.
Well, I can't let us skip over the music from the credit sequence.
I actually think it's amazing. You better come to this saying it's amazing. Do not tell me you don't like this.
Fucking disco bangers. It is so good. So good.
I can't tell. You sound so sarcastic. I feel like I'm getting offensive. Are you like, I generally would put this on. It's like kind of has like a Return of the Living Dead thing, like it has there's like a driving beat. I don't know. I guess disco.
It's because Lance can see me on video and I'm smiling a lot, so it does seem like I'm being sarcastic.
Yeah, I can't tell. I'm like, fuck you.
I'm 100%. I fucking love it so much. Like, as I said, fucking disco bangers. Like, it is just amazing. I mean, I will say later on, because it's actually underscores some scenes, and there's one scene in particular that it underscores that it does not work in at all, but we'll get into that later. But as just music, I would throw this on any day. I would get this on vinyl.
Okay, good. I agree. Because it's been a little while. Like, it's funny, I didn't actually remember the music that well. I remember liking the intro, but maybe it's just the mood I'm in. But I immediately was like, my shoulders started moving. I had this thing. You remember in the Blues Brothers when James Brown is preaching and Juliet Jake, he's just like shivering because he's so angry and he's not feeling it. But then he sees the light and he starts moving his body. He can't control it. He just starts dancing. I kind of started like moving like uncontrollably. I was like, ooh, I'm feeling this. So I like it more than I ever have. I don't know. Maybe it's just a right place, right time.
I agree with you so much that, and I'm not going to do this often because I have to edit these episodes, but we're going to play a little brief clip right here because I love it that much.
Absolutely. But so yeah, it opens up the TV. Can I say something though? I want to say,
but it's 7.5 minutes in that we finally get new footage.
Okay. What's the timestamp for number 2?
I don't know. It's less. It's definitely less. 7.5 minutes. I know it's less because the Alice footage happens before the credits, so it's absolutely less before we get new footage.
New footage starts around 6 minutes. Okay, 1 minute less. Fair enough.
And that makes quite the difference, I will say.
I mean, okay, I just feel like you're heading
especially
a little hard.
We already established in the last episode, I think that the ending of part 2 is so much better than the ending of part 1. So, I mean, if we're going to see those two compared, like, if we're going to see that again, then like, oh, wait a minute. I guess that doesn't really work with my point.
No, you're actually proving my point, and I agree. Thank you.
Shit. Fuck.
Yeah, and I agree with you. It is actually a far better scene to revisit, and I have such a good time. I would say an elating 7 minutes. I don't know if elating's the right word. Actually, I have no idea what the word means. But yes,
that's what I get for fucking smoking on a vape pen as we do this, because then I just forget where I'm at with things. God damn it. Son of a bitch.
But give me at least that the Friday 13th part 3 comes out of Mrs. Voorhees' head in 3D. It's schlocky,
so good.
But it's cool. Come on.
It's so good. Because especially that's like the era too. Because again, that editor mind, they don't even do like a fade in on the on the letters. It just like they pop in. Because it's not like that comes from shrinking out. At least I'm pretty sure they just pop. They appear in just a random frame. Because I remember that was one thing that stood out to me.
I mean, they do
it.
come out, but it's not like slick.
It's not it. There's a pop in, like
it's not smooth. No.
Which I love. That's the kind of stuff because it's like nowadays even a YouTuber can add in like a little fade to make it so then it's nice to see that. I think that's one reason I love this era is because I just know that they were cutting film and just doing all the old school tricks. Yeah, all manual. There's a charm to that, especially because this movie's in 3D, so I can only imagine what a nightmare this was to film.
Yeah, it's probably hell, and especially because it was low budget, and everything besides 3D makes this a tough shoot, and 3D, and this era especially. I mean, I can't even imagine.
Yeah, and because of the 3D, it's so overlit. Everything is overlit. Everything.
Let me give you one example of not, and it's a positive. 9 minutes in the movie, when that lady with the curls in her hair looks out the window, you actually get a cool shaded shot of Jason Voorhees without a mask and his big bald head, just kind of walking behind the clothesline of pants and shirts and blankets and stuff. So that's a decent shot.
But even then, it's too lit. Like
I wish this was a video podcast because I'm looking at it. You are incorrect, sir. It is shaded.
I am looking at it. Yes, he's silhouetted, but look at everything else around. It looks like a goddamn stage.
But he's silhouetted.
Look at the light. Yes.
It's a light behind the blanket. It's acting like a bounce. Come on.
Yes, but look, it's so much light there. And apologies to our listeners, but please go to 9:48 in the film, and yes, Lance is making the point of it's Jason silhouetted. I am just saying the surroundings are too lit.
Yeah,
because that'll actually be a common occurrence in terms of things are very lit, but then our subjects are not well lit because they don't have a bounce board.
Okay, fair. Okay, well, whatever. I like it. I like the fact that we immediately see Jason, not POV. We see like his body, and I like seeing this. I like the look of Jason a lot in this movie. I have some positives.
You see him a lot. You see him a lot in the Blu-ray version, like a lot in HD, especially when we're watching it on big screen, like a lot more than I remember in the DVD days.
I don't know. It's hard for me to say because I just remember him. I love the look of like kind of a maskless bald Jason. I thought it was kind of creepy. Because he has I think his face is really cool in this one. So I remember always picking up on it as a kid, and especially that ending scene where exactly. He has
built like a fucking linebacker.
What's the neck muscles? I don't know what those are called, but
traps.
The traps, like his traps are impressive. I mean, I know it's a prosthetic, but like it gives him that sort of you ain't getting through that guy.
Yeah, it's insane how massive he is, and he's just so silly. Like I don't know, so there's something about the Jason in this movie that I really get a kick out of.
I prefer. That's what I want him to look like, though. He's too small and he needs to be a little more. I don't know, built. But again, it's because I'm a hotter fan. So
this is finally when we're getting the classic Jason, which I am absolutely a fan of. And I mean, I guess we can talk about the couple getting killed. It's not. I used to like it. I really don't anymore. Nothing. You don't really see anything. And
so is that. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's a fair argument. I don't know. I feel like the first kills because he stabs in the back of the head and the blood. I mean, I don't know. Here's the thing. You're right, but I think it's probably slightly cooler than Alice's kill in the beginning of part 2.
Yeah. I guess I can see that because we actually see a little more. There's not really much of anything that we see in the Alice death. But even in the Alice death, there's we get to see Mrs. Voorhees's decapitated head. So at least there's that violence.
It's true. I mean, this has more of the blood coming out of the hand, which is nothing, but it's something. I mean, I get you're saying. I'm not as bothered by it, but I have a feeling that this is going to be the review where you're more annoyed by things and I'm going to be more passive. I could already tell.
Yeah, there's things I like. Like I immediately, let's just get out with these people because I just don't like them. Something about them rubs me the wrong way. But we immediately go to our people for the rest of the movie, the whole cast, and I enjoy them a lot. Like I should clarify that I really enjoy the cast in terms of characters with very different personalities, but the acting is awful. Like no one can act in this.
It's a bit rough. This one, I forget this. does take place in New Jersey, correct?
Yes, but the first is the first one shot in California.
I was gonna say because it opens with like not opens, but when we meet our characters, it's like on some suburban street. Shelley has the serial killer mask and he's messing around with the kids. And the only thing I can notice is all of the luscious palm trees in the background.
Yeah, I mean, it's that Halloween issue where it's like, wait a minute, I guess there's palm trees in New Jersey now.
Palm trees in Illinois, I guess,
Yeah, which I mean, I never care as much about that kind of thing, though it is really funny because one's fairly close to them in the shots. But it's such a weird introduction for Shelley because he shows up with that mask, which I like though, because then it's like, yep, that's me. That's me in the group. It's like that's the horror guy. And I mean he's much more like socially inept than I think most nerds are, but
yeah, it's extreme.
Yeah, this is playing off of stereotypes. Everyone here is a stereotype. We have Tommy Chong essentially.
Yeah, smoking up in the van. I gotta give credit though that like Shelley's the kind of awkward goofball, and then in real life grows up to be like a successful film lawyer.
Yeah, he was the guy who I was always getting my Friday the 13th lawsuit news from.
Yep. Yeah, he did a great job of like updating and being very like clear and concise. I think it actually was. I'm impressed because you can be smart, but being able to relay information to the public about something that important. I liked it because I got all my news from him.
Same, because he was doing it not in like an explain like I'm five way, but just in a let me explain the courtroom jargon for you kind of way.
Yes.
So where there were still some things where it was like, wait a minute, so what's this mean? But he was still treating people with a bit of respect with how he was explaining it. Because sometimes I'm like, okay, I'm not a dummy. You don't need to explain things like I'm a child, but like, just let me know like what this means in terms of, because sometimes especially legal things, they get so absurd with just their procedure. Like they're so procedure and tradition, where it's like, what? Speak English.
It's basically why, like, to get out of things, you need to spend money on a good lawyer, because the lawyer studies and memorizes essentially the backwards ass way of how these things have to be laid out. It's like it's complicated on purpose. And if you pay a lot of money, you can learn like how to memorize where it is. And then people pay you to get them out of trouble.
Yeah. Agreed. All right. So then we have, I do like that they're trying to set up Shelley. Even though, and I like the disappointment that the one girl has, even though she kind of warms up to him slightly, even though he messes it up. But like, I like that element, but it needed more of that. It needed the horniness of the second one, because there's not a lot of horniness in this.
No, that was actually something that was more clear on this rewatch, is that especially coming off of part 2 where everybody wanted to fuck, this is, not sexless, but definitely not. People aren't is super interested in getting down. It's just kind of like,
outside of Rick, that little meatball, to quote Freddie, he is just a horn dog to the point where he says the most ridiculous line that every time he says it, I've watched this with multiple now ex-girlfriends, and each time their reactions to this line is amazing, because he's like, I gave up a weekend with Mary Jo Conrad to come up here. And this is him trying to woo this girl. He's essentially saying like, hey, I gave up a sure thing to come up here, so you really need to put out.
Which part of me is like, why would you give up a sure thing for a non-sure thing if all you want to do is get laid? Like, you're playing the game backwards, buddy.
But there's also that implication that like Chris that Chris is like essentially his white whale.
Okay, I mean,
always been trying
I guess
to pursue.
I mean, sure, that's not set up well enough. Where I guess you make a good point, but yeah,
I don't know. I mean, that's always what I've gotten from their relationship and the familiarity. She seems to be someone that he's always pursued and has never gotten.
But I love that he thinks that line's going to work. After nothing's worked so far, that's what you lead with.
But also, too, he is there was times during this where I was relating to Rick, in particular his annoyance with her friends, because like to his credit, like, and I don't want to skip over this scene, but when Shelley comes back with the broken windshield, it is very much like the windshield is it's his car, so like he's gonna be upset, and I understand where he's coming from, of where he pretty much wants to leave immediately, because it's like, what the fuck, Shelley, why is this broken?
Yeah, how do you break a windshield? Yeah, no, and also it's expensive. Be pissed too, man. Like what? The best case scenario, I'm gonna get pulled over and get a ticket. Thanks, and I also got to fix my windshield.
Which, again, like I probably never even realized that was a thing any other time, but I noticed it this time. It's like,
yeah, times are tough.
Yeah, it's like, damn you, Rick. Why am I relating to your annoyance with these people? Because also, as much as Shelley is my favorite character in this, I would hate him in real life.
Yeah. No, he's good because he serves a purpose, but he actually is super obnoxious, awkward at the worst times, and just sort of, hangs around. I mean, yeah, none of these people would be really good to hang out with, actually.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I gotta look up. I like Debbie. Debbie's fun. Debbie's the one that announces she's pregnant.
I mean, yeah, I guess so. I don't really love anybody in this movie, but I've made mention before, these kind of movies don't really do a lot of character stuff for me. As long as people don't annoy the fuck out of me, I'm usually okay with it.
Yeah. Well, and then they do I think we skipped over the run-in with the hermit, which would have been the Crazy Ralph.
Yeah, Crazy Ralph. Yeah, I agree. And he puts I don't know what it's like, a piece of meat to the camera.
Yeah. He
kind of reminds me of like a low rent version of is it Buck Flower, the guy that was like a famous bum in like Back to the Future and a lot of those movies. He was like a reoccurring bum.
Oh yeah, he has like. Doesn't he like overcome his alcoholism? Isn't that like one of the arcs in Back
to the Future? But I'm saying that actor in like other movies has played like the same exact character of like a bumbling bum drunk. It's just
really?
He became like a kind of like a character actor. You needed like a drunk that slept on a bench. He was your guy.
Which why didn't we get him in Friday the 13th?
Oh, because they had Crazy Ralph. The question is, why is Crazy Ralph not in part 3?
Because we got this hermit instead with the holding the eyeball towards camera.
Yeah. But Crazy Ralph, man, as I mentioned in episode 2, killing him off was a mistake. Killing him off was a mistake.
Yeah, I agree. It was stupid. But the 3D moments, like with the eyeball and even the yo-yo, they're so charming. Like, as much as I dog on this movie, like it's still cozy. Cozy is important to me for a film, and this film is still very cozy.
And that kind of 3D that they're doing, it's the best era for 3D in terms of they're not even trying to tie it into the movie. They don't give a shit. It's just, okay, every 8 minutes do something with 3D. So it's like the eye or the broomstick in the beginning or the yo-yo. I mean, it's so awkward that it's amazing. Because it's like, oh, they're not weaving this in the story in any way that would make sense. They're just, I could literally hear the director and the writer being like, okay, we need 3D. Just towards the camera. And so, yes, it's cozy. And it's just so blatant. I love it.
Yeah, and one thing an element that I think would have worked in any other Friday, but not in this one, just because we don't have the correct Jason established yet, is the bikers. I think the bikers would have worked in any other film later on, but like in this one, I just don't think they do. I think they pull attention away from the group that desperately needs screen time to be able to develop them further, or at least give them some interesting moments, that then instead we're following these bikers, and it's like, yeah, this would work if we had like the fucking mean Jason from later on, but that's not what this is. It's more of just like these people looking like dummies, and like it's essentially a side quest.
Wow, you know what? You make a really good point. I've never liked the bikers. I always kind of found them just, yeah, they take away from it and they're kind of annoying, and I don't know, they're not cool or tough enough or punk enough for the time period for me to like get some schlocky joy out of them.
No.
But you make a really good point where like those characters with, yes, like part 6 on would be far more fun.
Yeah.
Where here it's like Jason, I mean, if I'm correct, you know, because his mask's off, they frame him in a kind of a different way. So it's not full on Jason. It's still like kind of POV-ish.
Yes, but there's a shot where he's standing by the barn and like seeing it in Blu-ray HD on a big screen. It's like, holy shit, yeah, there's Jason right there in full view. I can't believe because I have my DVD as well, and I remember comparing it in the past, and it's like, yeah, you just can't see him as clear in the DVD. Like it pulls off the same effect of like more just like a blurred silhouette, but HD, it changes things.
Which again, I like because I like the look of it, so I'm more okay, even if it is probably worse for the film as a whole.
I like it.
No, I'm just saying,
the makeup's good.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm trying to make. Like in the movie, yes, maybe a silhouette would work better because it's creepier. But I like, show me the stuff you're making. But I'm saying that you're right though, because without Jason being filmed as an actual character, those bikers just kind of hang out, and their whole thing's like to burn the barn down for revenge. It's just like, I don't know. It's just, like you said, a side quest that if it resulted in like really cool, awesome kills, I'd be a little more okay with it, but it doesn't. So I'm like, well, what are we doing then? You just made them extra camp counselors or friends, whatever we're doing here, and just end the group.
We don't even see Fox's death. She's swinging on the rope, and then she disappears, and then when what's his name finds her, it's just her pitchfork through the neck. But like, I would have liked to have seen that. Would have been nice to have
we've established last episode, and let's establish it again going forward. For this series, especially off camera kills, I found offensive.
Agreed. It happens a lot in this one. A lot.
Yeah, I know.
And to an annoying degree. And it's one of the reasons that this is finally. So in the last episode, I had looked at my rankings a little bit, and I had part 3 listed as number 4. That's how much I used to love this movie. And it was like 8 out of 10 in terms of my rating on it in the list. So that shows how much this is a very big change for me. And I don't think there's going to be any kind of drastic shift in any other movie that we watch. I think pretty much everything is set in stone in terms of my enjoyment of them. You might be able to win me over on part 7 more, but otherwise, like, I think everything's pretty set.
I mean, it makes sense. The off-screen kills, that's a valid point. Yeah.
It's like, why? Yeah. Especially the MPAA isn't even after him as hard yet. It's like, come on.
Budget, right? It has to be budget.
That, or because they did have to cut stuff in part 2, so maybe Steve Miner was just gun shy.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, because really, why go through the work if you know it's not going to, like, air anyway?
Yeah, I know how it feels. Like, so it's how sometimes you got to go even dealing with YouTube stuff. It's like, don't think this is going to even pass the censors, so not worth even putting in.
No, yeah, exactly. I just skip over any action gore. I don't, sometimes just showing gore, I'm like, I don't know if I should even do that.
Yeah. Yep,
zoom in a little,
Well, and there's something that happens in this that is very controversial, I would say, and it's something that you seem to not know what I was talking about before. So, do you know what I'm talking about when I'm talking about Chris and her rape recap?
No.
So when Chris is doing the quiet can fool you, it fooled me, and then she goes into her whole spiel about how she was in the woods and Jason attacked her, and then she blacked out.
Okay. Yes. But why was that controversial?
Because people are like, did Jason rape her? That's the big question.
But Jason's a murderer.
Yeah, I don't think he did.
I'm just saying, but even if he did, it's like, It's like does he have morals?
I think the whole thing is that that's what they wanted, but then Dana Kimmel like pushed against it. So that's why they went for the more fade to black kind of thing. So then because of that story, then it's like, oh, well, then that's what they wanted to go with. So I assume that's what happens when it fades to black. But I've always been like, I haven't seen Jason as a sexual being, so I've always had trouble with that excuse.
So yes, I mean, if we're keeping a more chronological view of things, you're 100% correct. The only thing I would argue against you is that, you know, every time they do another movie, their sort of continuity and lore of what is so just lazy that I could just see them being like, well, in this one it's kind of sexual. Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. It's like they don't really care. So every Jason movie, Jason's like an interpretation of what somebody thinks Jason is. That's how I always viewed it. That's why nothing's like the same.
Which series do you think has worse continuity? Halloween or Friday the 13th?
Probably Friday the 13th. Honestly, because Halloween, I just think reset a lot. That's their big issue. But like the actual timelines that are, if you would consider sequels, like I find them like somewhat respectable. Like, it's not like these where every time a new movie comes out, it's like the story is continuing, but it's like a whole different version vibe, which I like a lot with Jason because I grew up with all of them available. I call it the Bowie effect, where it's like I really love David Bowie, but I don't know if I would have loved him if I lived through a lot of his stuff, because it's like, oh, I really like this rock. It's like, actually, he's into German electronica. It's like, what? And then it's like, okay, I guess I like German electronica. It's like, no, actually, he's really into like 80s pop, where I'm like, okay, I'm done. And that's how Jason is. Like, every movie, it's different. Like, so when I have the Bowie catalog, aka everything laid out in once, I could jump through things at a speed and kind of appreciate it as like each individual. And that's why I look at Jason Voorhees. Because I told you when I watched these when I was a kid for the first time, I just went and grabbed whatever cover looked cooler, and I watched that first. So I didn't watch these in any real order. And I think it's helped me, I guess, not have to stick my ass for the continuity. Though, if somebody did hate it for that reason, I completely understand, because how do you get attached when everything is completely changing every time?
Yeah, I think that the continuity in this film, and to a lesser extent Halloween, is the reason that I just don't care, or it kind of taught me to not give as much of a shit about that kind of thing, because I'm like, well, continuity in these movies change all the time, and I still love the shit out of them.
Yeah, you view them as each individuals. Yeah.
No. It is also the very interesting thing about horror. I think about this a lot, where it's like, if I would love this series, if I had lived through it, because there is that, you know, first one comes out, you sit and marinate with it. You don't have any of the other reference points. So it's like, I understand if someone who grew up through this is not a big fan of it.
Can I interrupt you? Have you noticed that most people, and I'm not one of them, because obviously I was born in the 80s, but most people that grew up with these movies, and what I mean by that is like saw them each live, you know, they always say the same thing. I've heard, basically it's either after 3 they suck or after 4 they suck. That is the common consent. And I was like, oh, because for you, like, you know, you were probably so pissed you had to walk away. Like, for instance, I saw 1 in theaters. I saw 2 in theaters. I saw 3 in theaters. It was like, I'm done. But I have friends who watched, who didn't get into them until they're all available, and it's like their favorite series. It's like, oh, I love this because it's wacky and crazy, and this has the guy from that fucking new metal band melted to his seat, and I'm just like, no, that shit ended at number 2, you know, like I'm that grumpy guy. So it's like, I'm the guy. I'm not respecting my own Bowie effect. So I guess the answer is, I know that I like these specifically because I didn't live through them, and I'm kind of glad I didn't, because it means so much to me. It's for same with Nightmare on Elm Street. I'm able to love 4 and 5 with sort of a charming schlock, because like I didn't watch 1 and just be disappointed from then on, you know?
Yeah, I think Elm Street, the only one I would have had an issue with was 2, because of how much it diverts the formula and really fucks with a lot of stuff in terms of like bringing Freddy into the real world. So I think, but then like the 3rd one immediately would have won me back over, and then I wouldn't have been lost. I mean, until like the remake.
But you don't feel like, I guess the
Freddy's Dead is fun.
The only caveat is like, if you grew up and really loved 1, and even 2 for being as weird as it is, at least Freddy is creepy.
Yeah.
I can see people not digging on. I mean, I know 4 is what made him sort of MTV Freddy. I could see people loving the original stuff, being like, "Fuck 4."
Yeah.
But again, it's hard for me to know that because all my friends are around a similar age, and we all just rented them on VHS. So I love them all. I honestly do. Like even 2, which is probably my least favorite, I respect a lot more now for being super weird.
After watching that Scream Queen documentary, that was what made me kind of see it in a new light and appreciate some stuff that I didn't appreciate before in it. So
I don't know his name, but he came off. Yeah, he came off like a good human being that just like had a bad run, and I was like, he was very sympathetic. So like, I agree. Yeah. But let's sorry.
Back to Friday the 13th, part 3. See, that's what happens when we talk about this movie, is because you just want to like talk about anything except Friday the 13th,
it's not
part 3.
that bad. Come on.
Okay, I have a positive. All
right, yeah.
Okay, so they do a good job of setting up the murder weapons. Like they show the fire poker beforehand. Like one of the characters is poking around the fire with it, and I think they show the spear. The one girl gets through the eye beforehand. So there's setup. I like that.
Yeah, they do the Chekhov's gun quite well.
Yes. I wanted to ask you, because this always comes up whenever I see this movie. The logistics of hammock sex.
I don't think it's possible. I mean, I'm not saying it's impossible, but I've never had it. But I could see hammock sex being the kind of thing where you immediately just go on the ground and lay down your shirts and do it. Like, well, I'd be like, okay, it's like, have you ever done like a bathroom counter? Like, yeah, it looks hot like in a movie, but it really is just like, it's not, like
or a hot tub, or it's like, yeah, it looks sexy in Showgirls, but it's not.
I unironically love Showgirls, but no, yeah, water is actually not fun to
yes,
play around in.
Yeah, so like these kinds of things I think of when I see that, and it's like, this seems like a movie thing that they didn't think through. Like, oh yeah, this is hot, and then you think the logistics of it, and it's like, I don't think they had an enjoyable experience. But
but we're older thinking that. I mean, I feel like as like a 12-year-old, I was not bothered by the idea, But I also probably didn't. I know I didn't know because I never had it, but I'm saying that like that's something. I feel like that's an argument that we're making just as like older guys.
That true. Like, that is fair. I saw this movie as a virgin a lot, so I'm sure I was examining these things much differently than I do now. But that probably didn't stand out to me at that time. I was probably like, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, you fucking hammocks. Yeah,
yeah, of course. Yeah.
I fucking a lake.
Yeah, can you imagine
not?
Lake water?
Oh God, no. There's times where people are kissing in lakes where I'm like, go
unless
shower
it's a great
first.
lake. Like, let's admit, you're in Michigan. A Great Lake is fine because essentially that's like a mini ocean. But no New Jersey lake. That's gross.
That's disgusting. That's New Jersey. You kidding me? That is full of toxic waste.
I mean, isn't Trauma from Jersey? So isn't it likely that?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure
that's part of it.
So from here on, it's pretty much just stalking scenes and deaths. Like that's really all the rest of the film is, which I mean, I dig, but there's a lot of deaths we don't see. Like we don't see Shelley's death at all. We see the ending, I guess, after his throat's slit.
Yeah, the one you see the one before with the spear gun.
Yeah, the spear through the eye. Which, yeah, I guess I always attribute Shelley as dying before that, but I guess he did die after. Technically, he just gets attacked beforehand because Jason has the mask, which I love. I love the mask, and I hate.
A great mask.
You'll relate to this. It is so tough to be able to talk about the origins of the mask, because there are 50 different stories about it. So many different people have claimed credit for it. And it's just like, we're just two schmoes that watch special features and read things. We do not know any inside information about this. It is someone on the production came up with it. That's all I'm gonna say, because I feel like every time I specifically avoid talking about it if I have to bring up anything like that in a
I
in
would
a
just
Friday
talk
the
about
13th
the
video.
look of the mask. I don't, because it's not, when it's not confirmed and it's hearsay, it's not interesting information to me.
Yeah.
And clear for a movie like this, they didn't, like, it wasn't something iconic. They just need something to kill Jason in.
Yep.
And that was it. Like, they didn't give a shit. So, like, I don't. I care more about like the later ones and how they look, but I like the look of this. That's important.
Yeah, it looks great. Like, the whole setup looks amazing. I don't know how they were, but the biggest thing too is that it's how it then transfers over into the other films. Like, this is a good starting point.
And it gives the most important thing. So I don't know if I ever mentioned this to you, but to me, the machete crack in the top, I guess, left of the mask. I mean, it's right for the camera, but left if you're wearing it. That's like important to me. It's really, really important to me. And that's, to me, if a mask has that, then people care about the series, the franchise. And so I love that after this, every single one has the machete cut.
Even when it doesn't make sense, like Part 8.
Part 8, when like the guy has a new mask that has the same cut. Yeah. But I love it because it makes no sense, but they knew it's like, no, man, it's too important. Yeah. And that's why Freddy vs. Jason, and are we covering that? Is that a part of this?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Well, I have things to say.
We cover it when we do, which, by the way,
I guess it came in the box set. That's a dumb question.
But I also, because you and I have not discussed this off air, but I think Nightmare on Elm Street should be the series we do after this, because I think because of Freddy versus Jason, they really lead into each other well, and I think we do Freddy versus Jason for both of them, but it's from the perspective. I feel like it changes your perspective on it a little bit. I know that you're more of a Jason guy, but I
am. But I think Freddy vs. Jason is actually, it's a Nightmare on Elm Street movie with Jason in it.
But so that's what I'm saying in terms of like, I don't know. I think we can have different conversations about the films when, after going through. Because I'll have a different mindset compared to, because after watching all these Friday the 13th, I'm going to be pro Jason. But when I watch all the Nightmare on Elm Streets, I'm going to be like, oh yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. That's my other favorite series. I've always argued real quick that I love Friday the 13th more because it's meat and potatoes, and it's you said in I think the last video, part 2. Or no, is it this one? No, sorry. I'm mixing all our videos up. You said earlier today that this, it comforts you at times, because it just has that sort of warmness to it. That's what this series is to me as a whole. Though I think Nightmare on Elm Street is a better series. I just find Jason more entertaining because it's just, it's not even trying. There's something that I love, but Nightmare on Elm Street, directors are doing interesting choices. Yeah. It's just, you're able to use stuff more. So I think that is absolutely something we should do after we finish this series.
Well, and I should also say an interesting element is that you're a Jason guy. I'm a Freddy guy. So I feel like that is, not sure if you've discussed that, but yeah, I'm actually, Nightmare on Elm Street is my favorite series.
So when I worked at the theater, when Freddy vs. Jason came out, and I don't know what I've said. Well, no, because this is only a third episode, so maybe I've never mentioned it. But they had these 2 10-foot banners of Freddy and Jason. I immediately went to my boss and was like, I want Jason. And he was like, oh, okay, that's fine, because nobody's claimed that yet. I got 5 people that want the Freddy one. And I was like, good, that's fine.
Yeah, because people love, well, and I think one aspect too is, is it really Jason? It's Ken Kersinger, but we can get into that later. We gotta talk part 3.
I don't dislike Part 3. Let me say that because I feel like it's gonna come off like I do. I actually like Part 3. I do. I like it more than you do, but you're absolutely right. The a lot of kills are off screen. Characters aren't horny enough, and it's a little. I think the 3D part is actually what I like the most because it makes things really, really shocky.
Hey, I got a positive.
All right, let's go.
one of the better shower scenes. I am real into Debbie, so that element is something that every time I watch this, I'm always like, perk up. I'm like, okay, I gotta watch this scene. It always cracks me up too that her boyfriend is always doing the upside down thing.
Oh yeah, but his kill's cool.
Sure,
yeah,
I'm sure it's just something that he was doing on set, and they just added it to the film. But it cracks me up every single time.
So it is a good shower scene. I'm gonna admit that because it's not trying to be artistic. It's really just the cameras there. But I do like those. It's clear, like they're going to do multiple takes. So she like seems like she's really not trying to get more wet than she has to.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's not bad. I mean, she's she's a cute girl, and I think it works.
There's just not many. I guess when I say it's one of the best shower scenes, I guess there's not many shower scenes in the series. There's a couple with dudes, but girl shower scenes. This one and Jason Goes to Hell.
Yeah. Yeah, because on part 8, the girl kills the girl like in the shower or near the shower, but she wasn't in the shower. Yeah. I mean, but hold on, I want to go back to that boy. I thought that you got to agree though. I think the boyfriend kill, who's always walking on his hands, I like how that was shot, where it kind of like he folds into himself.
I do, but then there's the whole logic of that happens out in the hallway, and then Debbie walks right through that area. And then we see what that guy looks like. And he is quite literally cut in half with his gut splayed out. So that tells me that there should be a little bit of mess in the hall. So the fact that she did not notice that is kind of shocking.
Okay. Yeah, fine. And fair enough. This is one of those, you're right.
I'm being an
I don't
asshole.
care.
I'm being an asshole.
I mean, it's Friday 13 part 3 3D. Come on.
Yeah, I'm being an asshole. I get it. But it's one of those, I was so annoyed by this. I usually love this movie so much. And then I felt like the curtain was, I feel like someone told me Santa isn't real.
But is it possible? I'm just going to, let's put this on the table, that it could just be like your mood, like maybe just not the mood of the day, but like the mood lately, or, I mean, we've talked about like sometimes.
Did you hear me talk about Friday the 13th part 2?
I think we did an episode. Yeah. I
love that movie so fucking, but I guess I was talking shit about it during the episode too. Maybe I'm just a negative Nancy lately.
I'm not trying to insult. I'm not saying negative Nancy, but I'm saying, sometimes if I'm super cynical and I watch like a funner movie, I'm just like, I'm not feeling it now. So I'm just wondering, because you're saying that this is such an aggressive shift, if maybe this is something you should give like a year wait and watch again and see where it is.
Yeah, I would concur with that.
What if this is a movie that like you need to watch like every year to kind of see like where you are mentally? Like you could play, you could place where your mental health is based on how you view Friday 13th 3D.
I got Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind and Friday the 13th Part 3. Those are my mental gauges.
I know you're feeling. I mean, let's get real quick. Spotless Mind's a masterpiece.
Yes, but it is my mental gauge in terms of I cannot watch that when if I'm like, ooh, I can't watch that. That's when I know I'm not doing well.
Interesting. I guess, yeah. I don't. I mean, I love it, but it's a movie that like depresses the hell out of me. I don't know if I could really watch it a lot myself, but it's interesting that that's a gauge movie for you. I respect that.
I love it so much. It's a top 10 movie for me. I adore it. It is perfect.
It's masterpiece.
Yeah. So, but this is not a masterpiece, but it could be a good gauge of where I'm at mentally. So I agree. Maybe that is something I need to keep an eye out for. Maybe that's, you know what? Maybe I need to re-examine some movies that I saw this year that I was annoyed at.
Yeah,
talk to me. Maybe I'm like,
you're the only one that. I mean,
that's the thing.
The only one, but
I liked the movie. I just didn't think it was a masterpiece.
Yeah, I mean, the problem with that is that it's an A24, so like it comes with a sort of aura, and I love A24, but because people kind of, pardon my French, jerk them off so much,
it's a cult.
Yeah, I mean, so it's always like, you kind of gotta walk in a little more like, okay, let's let's not walk in with oh my god, it's gonna be fantastic.
Yeah. It's the same thing with, I'm a big wrestling fan, but I got to keep my expectations tempered for Iron Claw because it's A24. People could just be hyping it up because it's A24. They know how to shoot stuff. And sometimes that's all people need to be enamored.
That's a good point. As a guy from the Bear in it, and I trust him.
I do. I say that, and by the time this episode will have aired, I will have already. It'll probably already be in my top 5, like for the year. Like I love it. I already know I'm gonna love it. Like I know the Von Erich story, so I'm very much looking forward to it. But
I'm not a wrestling guy, so I know as much as the trailer showed me. But hey, man, I hope it works out for you. But hold on, I wanted to go back to Friday 13th Part 3 3D. God, I need to. I'm just gonna call it 3D.
Yeah.
I'm like struggling. I'm like I have to think to say a stupid title.
It's because I think of that cover, and it's Friday the 13th Part 3D.
Yeah, the 3D comes out.
Yeah, the shower.
But I was
looks great.
So the dude is above her, right? And I agree. Like he looks more gory. But then again, it could be. I'm going to say this, that Jason, to stuff him up there, to get him above that thing, he might have had to like kind of meet himself in there. So it could have been more like after, when like the shirt rips kind of thing, like trying to get back. I don't know. I'm just saying maybe that's what that is. Maybe that's more of a location
I'll
squeeze.
give that to you.
But I
like the idea of Jason dismembering him in order to
because he doesn't fit
him somewhere.
Yeah. Well, because Jason does set up things. Like he'll stick in the body in a corner and put the leg to hold it over the door, and then he'll have to shut the door to a point where he knows the body will fall out. So I always think every time a body pops out in a Friday the 13th movie, it's like, well, Jason absolutely had to stage it. And I have some sort of fundamental understanding of physics because, if he was just completely like, mentally disabled, he wouldn't understand it. So, but he has to know, like, if I close the door this much, the body will stay. And you can still open the door. He
full on cuts that guy in half and balances both halves of the body on a beam. Like
that's what I'm saying. Like he had to try. He had to take his hand off for a second. If it like tipped left or right, he had to like adjust. I think I appreciate the efforts. Come on.
You know what? The more I think of it, that is the kind of skill that someone who lives in the woods has. Like,
it's balancing. Yeah.
Like that's all I think of because it's like those people that balance rocks by the river. Seems like the kind of thing Jason would do in his free time, balance things.
He had to build a shed, and like you got to understand balance for that, or it's going to collapse.
Very true. They got those New Jersey winters, so
you got to stay warm, man. But I was going to say, I like the chick. I like the it comes through. It's like below her neck or her like
their chest.
It's her chest, but like the makeup's not amazing, but because you're right, it's overlit. Fair enough, sir. But it seems aggressive, and I kind of do like that. It's
You can see. You can see like the threading on the whatever the fiberglass that they used or whatever. Like you know what I mean? You can use like that threading stuff that they then use on prosthetics. Looks like a bandage.
But how much of that is our nice 4K TVs and the Blu-ray?
I've thought that ever since. Yeah, ever since I was a kid.
Well, I don't mind. I like how that looks. It doesn't look great, but for some reason it looks meaner than it would the Kevin Bacon kill from Part 1.
I think my biggest thing is that it catches, so then it gets carried up, and it's like, oh, that's not how that works. Because it's trying to push through, but it's not. I think like the blade isn't sharp enough, so it doesn't like push, like, so it pushes the skin out. It just makes it look fake, so I don't like that. It's one of those things where when I see it, I'm like, Tom Savini would have done it differently.
And that's fair. I can't say that he would have done worse, but I don't know. I like how it looks. Good enough.
Yeah.
That's a lot of this movie. It's good enough.
Yeah. And then, so those are the ones that we get on screen, but then we have both stoners. They get killed. The stoner guy we don't even get his death. He gets thrown into the electrical box, and then it's over. It's done with. Like, And then even the poker, it's through the girlfriend. There's one shot of it just through her, and then it's done. And I'm not saying I'm like some fucking, I don't know, Jeffrey Dahmer motherfucker who needs crazy violence to get off to, but this is a Friday the 13th. Yes.
I was going to say, this is the series. It's really the entire point. Creative kills. And not creative in Friday the 13th or Nightmare on Elm Street where it's like dreams and interesting, like conceptualized. It's just like, hey, what thing that could be picked up by some sort of strong human/zombie can actually, used to kill a person. That's what this whole series is.
Part 7's cut to shit, but there's creative kills in it. The sleeping bag, the thing in the eye that is cut to death where you don't see much of anything, but it's also creative. So then there's a lot of, your imagination does a lot of the work for you. Here, this is a simple stabbing, but then you don't see anything.
Yeah, and my biggest issue with the first movie is a lot of it's just stabbings. But to then sort of counter argument my past self, you're right though. If you're gonna stab in this and just straight up cut away, then like what are we doing?
So
what are we doing here?
My big counter argument to that, and yes, I know it's almost 30 years, or well, 35.
Wait, are you countering my counter argument to my past self?
I'm countering. No. I'm countering in terms of your thing about stabs being a negative, because the Scream series, especially, I mean, that last one, holy shit, you can feel those stabs. If someone were to say to me, like, oh, it's just stabs, I'd be like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, those stabs I felt in my chest. I've never been more uncomfortable with stabs. So it's like stabs can be done well if they're done well.
Yeah, I mean, okay. Yes, in newer filmmaking, we've got better, but and at least in this era, or specifically this series, some of the early stabbings are boring.
There's no stab in this series outside of the remake that I would say is impressive. Stabbing.
Yes, no, of course. That's what I'm saying.
I don't need people to think I'm saying there aren't good kills in the rest of the series. Just saying stabbing wise, which is good. Yeah, I'm glad they got away from stabbing.
Absolutely. No, man. I mean, if somebody gets stabbed and anything really past 2, I'm like, what guys? 3 fine, because the series is still trying to be a very serious.
There's the fun one. There's the fun one in 5 of the guy getting stabbed with like the pole through the outhouse, like the wall.
Yes, but that's a little more creative because it's the enchiladas.
It plays the tension game of like, oh, where's it going to come in at? Like that's a little different.
Exactly.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, no, I'm not talking about just any sort of blunt force object in the body. It's like because like if you think about part 8, which we'll get into eventually, most of those kills are taking something and shoving it into a body.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's just more creative. At a certain point, like a knife gets boring unless you know how to shoot it. Which a lot of these directors don't know how to shoot it.
Well, then you'd have to stab in an interesting era. You have to like stab like in the top of the head.
Yeah.
Or if you're stabbing somebody, it has to go through them. Yeah, no, it can't be. Especially in this series where like it becomes a thing you can't stop. Like Scream is a human being, but like Jason's kind of superhuman. So at some point, we gotta do more because it's like, well, he can't be stopped. So
yeah, we got to ramp things up more and more, especially once we get into zombie mode. But then once both stoners die, we have Rick and Chris essentially coming back just like Ginny and Paul do in part 2. This series loves to just like repeat plot beats.
Yeah, and they get them away. Yeah,
I love that their first reaction to people being gone is, at least Rick's is that they left us. They left. Like what? There's something on the stove that was cooking that is burning, like that is just left on. Why?
And there's going to be things that people own that are still there.
Like, yeah, it just kind of shows of how much he is just constantly in flight mode, which
also bad writing. Let's be honest.
it's bad writing. But then I think it kind of helps because he gets killed very shortly after. Because then he's like, I'll check out. What did he say? Check out the generator or something. It's just so dumb.
No, I mean, you make a good, yeah. Like, there's just like, okay, this guy's done.
Yeah, but they don't even treat us with his actual, we see his death, but we don't see Jason get him. Like, suddenly Chris just walks out onto the porch, and yes, I like the reveal, but this is a big dude. I need to see how Jason got the jump on him. That's an interesting, I don't care about how he got the jump on Chong. Like, that doesn't matter. He could do whatever and get the jump on him, but someone like Rick, I'd like to see that.
Chong, I love it.
He looks just like Tommy Chong.
No, it clearly is influenced by, 100%.
I usually play as him in the Friday the 13th game.
Wait, why would you play as anybody but Jason?
No, Jason's fun, but if you're going to play online, then usually, I haven't done this in years, but it was playing with others. You would then play. You have to pick counselors.
Oh, I know. No, I act like I do. I know. Yeah, I'm sorry. I know that that's how it worked, but for some reason, I just always think of games as like campaigns. So I've never played the game online. I waited till it had a campaign because I want to play as Jason.
Oh, yeah.
Who's that guy, Oh,
I mean, you can play as Jason online, and that's super fun too.
No, but I not like I hope I'm Jason. Like, no, I misunderstood. I want to play as Jason, or I'm not playing. I want to play as a killer. There's two things I've always wanted in my life, or three actually: to play as Jason Voorhees, to be the shark from Jaws, and to play as Freddy Krueger. And I've been lucky to live long enough to get two out of three of those. So I just need to be a game where I could be Freddy Krueger. Not like a fighting game, but like an actual Nightmare on Elm Street game where I play as Freddy Krueger.
I was going to say, you can play as the Robert or the Jackie Earle Haley one in Dead by Daylight.
Yeah, not to sound like an asshole, but those games don't have campaigns, and so I don't respect them.
Oh, I don't. Yeah, that's not a game style I enjoy. I do not play Dead by Daylight.
I'm an older generation. I listen. I'm not against online and playing against people. I mean, I grew up during the GoldenEye era. I mean, I was all about that. But to me, it's like a game should always be a one-player game with an amazing or multiplayer online mode. The fact that games will come out as a multiplayer and have no campaign, it's like, I don't know. I not to be an old man yelling at the clouds, but that's not a thing I'm into.
Yeah, it's not for me. I got several friends who are very into it. One of which is very, very. Jason is probably listening to this right now. Yes, his name is Jason, and and he has like 250 hours on Dead by Daylight this year, maybe less than that, but crazy number.
Oh, it's popular. I mean, he's not in the wrong. I mean, I'm the weird one being like, I don't like, and then no, it's me. But I'm just saying, I've noticed that's the thing people love. Yeah. It's like, man, I know I want to be able to just put in something in play. I need the option, and that's my big thing. I need the option.
Yeah, we are unfortunate. By the time this airs, the Friday the 13th game servers will be down. And so the only way to play that game will be the campaign.
Yeah, good for me. Yep. Don't change anything in my line.
You won't be able to purchase it again, so be ready for that.
I got a physical copy on the Switch, actually.
Oh, nice. I need to buy it on the Switch before it delists in a couple weeks. But so we still have a little bit to go in this. We have the chase with Chris, which there's a lot of like really funny moments in this whole finale because Rick gets his eyeball popped out, which I think
on the string,
is directly to camera and so funny. It's like you can see the line, the fishing line.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, I think it's absolutely great. Amazing. Because it really did try. That's how I describe it. They tried.
Dude, I'll take that over CGI.
Oh, 100%.
CGI eye coming or something like that. Ugh.
Like they did in Evil Dead Rise. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Hopefully we have a long time before we talk about that series because I don't want to talk about Rise anytime soon.
No, we got to do all Jasons and all the Freddys first.
Yep. We got plenty of them to go through.
But I do like one thing I do like about this chase scene, and I'm going to compare it to part 2, is because the style of Jason in this movie I really like. He seems, I don't know, like more of a foe. Like I'm a little more nervous about him chasing.
Yeah, he's more of a threat.
What's her face? Yeah, exactly. He just has that build where even how he like hobbles. I'm like, oh, if he grabs you, which also makes the rape thing make less sense because like he had her leg. Well, let me rephrase that. Like that whole scene doesn't make sense without them clarifying what his intentions were because he should have just immediately grabbed her leg and grabbed her throat and killed her.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like this guy, you're not wiggling away from this Jason.
Yeah, I agree. But I think one of the biggest issues is Chris is just, I think she's a weak final girl. I think she just is screaming and bumbly a lot and doesn't take enough action for me, I would say. And I really don't like her screams. Again, whiny.
I mean, I should state for the record that I love this series, but I would say dislike most of the main characters. Like there's not, I really, besides one specifically in a later sequel, I really am almost always at every moment really rooting for Jason. I think that's why I have such a weird relationship with this movie compared to other people because I was on his side forever. Like as a kid, to me, Jason was just like an R-rated Power Ranger. Like I just was like, oh, he's cool. I'm on his side.
Yeah.
So it's like you might be right, but I'm also like I've been wanting her to die since the beginning. So it's not. I'm not as bothered by that. And then that will be a reoccurring theme in this series as we review these. And I'm gonna be like, yeah.
Oh no! Don't get me wrong. I've disliked her this entire film. I definitely used to think that she was, I don't know, more interesting, but I do not anymore in any way.
And and when she's in the bar and Jason's like ripping things apart, and that's I guess I keep going back to that's my big positive. This is that every time Jason's on screen, I actually thoroughly enjoy it. I like the performance and the look, and him looking in the bar and he's tearing things about with a sort of intensity that I'm like, good. That's the Jason I'm here for.
Yeah, he's definitely, I mean, he's so much better in this one than in 2, just in terms of how he acts. I think in the second one, he's much more like of a realistic serial killer man in the woods, but this is Jason. This is more of a silly, like him like pushing stuff around when he's looking for her in the barn, and
I love that. It's just all, yeah.
And then obviously the whole when he's hanging and then pulls the mask up, like those moments are fun. I enjoy those moments. He seems like he's enjoying being a psychopath.
Yeah. This is the first Jason. That's the first ever Jason. As you know, because clearly in 1 he wasn't there except for the dream. 2, they really didn't know what they wanted from him. I think this is the beginning of what. The framework for what we end up loving is starts here. And I think that's why, with all the flaws you're mentioning, I'm still going to, I think, maybe hold this a little closer because it's like, well, this to me is the start of the series, if I'm being completely honest.
Yeah.
For me. I mean, I know you love 2.
I mean, I love 2 as a movie. I understand that you were to like compare it in terms of what I like about Friday the 13th, it would probably fail on some levels, but as a movie and as a slasher, I think it's so good.
Yeah, and slashers are your big thing too, so that makes sense.
Yeah. And I also want to, I love when Chris is in the canoe and sees Jason from the window. And Jason like has that like almost like shocked look on his face, but like almost like a playful.
When me and John Fallon talked about this on our old Air on the Head show, I remember specifically he brought up like how dumb Jason looks in the window shot, and it's funny because my whole life I really liked it as a kid. I loved it because I thought it was so cool because as a kid, I thought it looked kind of creepy, and this is a really weird thing to say. One of my deepest internal fears has always been like looking up and having somebody look at me through my window, like somebody's outside my window. That's just been like I think a primal fear. Like I'm okay with it now, but I also own multiple things that would make me feel safe. Let's just say that. But so even in the bright daylight, just seeing some creepy guy look through the window, I don't know. Still, to me, I'm like, I like it. I like it. I'm gonna be a defender and say I agree that it looks goofy, but I'm all here for it, or I'm all here for it.
I say it looks goofy. I mean that in an endearing way. I love it. I love the whole like this. Jason is amazing in every frame of this movie. I think he is so much fun. I don't think.
And in the ending, he has all the blood in his face too.
Yeah, but he's like a little sillier in this, which I think he's not really as silly until I don't even know when he's this silly. I think this is his silliest.
I mean, I guess what we could say is this is definitely the DiCaprio from Eating Gilbert Grape of the Jason series.
Where they're still really leaning into the low IQ aspect.
Yes. Which is like, something that I was always okay with them getting rid of. I never really, like, to me, you could have just said he like had physical deformities, he gets still drowned. You don't need to make him mentally, disabled to have a young kid drown alone in a lake while people are banging, but whatever. So I understand that's people probably hold on to that. I'm not so much. But yes, this one he's very, I love that we got to avoid it, but which, and I should say, I thoroughly enjoy What's Eating Gilbert Grape. I grew up on that movie. So,
it's the best. That performance is from DiCaprio is incredible and could not be done today.
No, not at all.
Timothy Chalamet wasn't doing that kind of thing to break through.
I mean, it was a different era, and probably a better era. Let's just say that.
Yeah, I agree. Well, there's some other aspect of this before we wrap up that we should talk about is the weird Pamela Voorhees. Oh, I said that the sweater didn't come back. The sweater came back. Because technically she's in the sweater.
Is she actually in the sweater, or does it just look like the sweater?
Oh, I mean, Chris isn't in the sweater. I'm saying that the Pamela Voorhees zombie is in the sweater. So we did get the sweater again.
Okay, that's fair. And in the dream.
I was just making sure to correct myself in terms of, I said that it wasn't in the series again. So clearly I was wrong.
We had a whole thing on that too.
Yep. So clearly I was wrong. It is back, but it's not utilized. It's literally a dream sequence. So
yeah, it was more just for the continuity of the character, which is impressive that they even cared enough to do that. Even though if you think about the end of number 2, not to be an asshole, it was like damn near brown from like dirt and grime, and in this it's like it has that blue color. So I'm like, well, fair enough.
Well, I mean, to be fair too, that lake is pathetic.
I mean, is it really a lake? It looks like more of a pond.
Yeah, because they had to make it themselves because they didn't have one, so they just made it, and I guess it was rancid.
Is there really no? I mean, I know California has water problems, but they couldn't.
No, I'm sure it was just the place that they were able to get filming rights for cheap, and then they're like, well, there's no lake here. Well, we can make a lake for cheaper than it would be to film at this other place.
That's wild. It's cheaper to build than to just go and find one, but fair enough.
Yeah. But so it pretty much essentially ends with Chris getting hauled away like she's going to the loony bin, which I wish we got some kind of follow-up on in some way.
It would have been great if in part 5, when Tammy Jarmus is like, in that halfway house, she was there, and that was like the connection.
Anything, even a mention of it, of just, oh yeah, she's still in that mental asylum. Anything.
To this very day.
It would have been nice, but yeah, we did not get that. And then the movie just ends. Oh, wait, it does the pan down to Jason as he's laying there. Do his fingers twitch?
What do you mean, at the very end?
Yeah.
Let's see.
I always forget. But that's always...
Well, hold on. Oh, I'm looking. Hold on. Let's see. No. There's no indication he's still alive. As far as this movie's concerned, Jason's dead.
So it's just like the Hamill Voorhees head thing, where some people think they remember the eyes opening. I thought there was a little finger twitch. He's dead. But
which makes sense because they always end with, they never really lead off on it could or not be. It's like, now he's dead.
Yeah.
And then, that's the beauty of these movies is then somebody has to take over and find a way to bring him back.
And it's amazing.
And 4, I love that he just wakes up. That's it.
I'm so excited for 4. 4 is one of my favorites. So that next episode will be a lot of fun. But we still have to rate this one. So what would your final rating?
I'm gonna say a 3. I know I gave part 2 a 3, and I will admit right now that you are correct, and part 2 is a better movie than this. But this has Jason Voorhees, and anytime he's on screen, I'm happier, and so I'm gonna say this is also a 3. In terms of my rating.
How dare you? Just kidding. I would go a 2.5.
It's actually not terrible.
Yeah, I'd put it above the first Friday the 13th.
I hope so.
Yeah, I still enjoy it, but it's, again, prior to this, I would have thought I would have been scoring at a 3.5. So the fact that I've dropped it a whole star, it's
well, again, we don't know if this could be something you gotta come back in a year and see what you're like.
Yep, I'll come back to it in a year, and we'll see how I feel about it. But well, you heard that on camera, or really on audio. Yeah.
And a year ago from right now, we're gonna come back and do a little revisited in part 3 and see. This is gonna be a long episode. We'll just do this could be like an extra bonus thing. Okay, coming back a year later, how do we feel?
God, I gotta write a note. There we go.
I'll put it in the old calendar.
There we go. Well, okay. I think we pretty much have done it then. So that's really all for Needlessly Nostalgic. We will see you guys next week as we cover Friday the 13th, the final chapter. We're going to be, I can't wait. It's going to be a love fest because I know you love it, or I hope you love it. And
dude, who doesn't like 4? Yeah. 4 is one of those, I think it's like a litmus test with personality where I'm like, if you don't like 4, I'm not saying we can't hang out, but I wouldn't trust you around kids and dogs.
The favorites are 4 and 6. Almost every single person, they say it's one of those two movies. Very rarely is anything else.
Yeah, those are the fan favorites, and I will right away say I love both those to death, and completely understand why those are people's favorites.
Yeah, they're incredible. Can't wait to get to them. But yeah, that's really all. So thank you so much for listening. Make sure to like and comment, subscribe, spread the word, follow, whatever you do on the various podcasting platforms, whatever you're listening to this on, because we should be on quite a few different platforms. So I never know what to say in that situation, but just do the positive thing that you would do in that situation. Also leave a review. I know that helps too. You can even you can even say we suck, but hopefully we don't. But that's really all. So thank you guys so much for listening to another episode. We will see you guys next week.